Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dimitri Johnson, and you're listening to MMALatestNews.com.
It's time to roll, baby.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to MMA Latest. We're here for the Bellator Paris and Bellator 248 preview. I'm here with Quilter, the first major organisation in Paris, in France. How pumped are you for tonight's fights?
It's kind of a daytime one at this rate, but yeah, I'm buzzing. I'm fairly disappointed they got robbed of that title of the first MMA event in France, but first major one, I'm happy with that. It's pretty good. How are you?
I'm buzzing for it. Is it MMA GP? They did nick it there on Thursday, but at least tonight they can say that they're the first promotion to be fighting with lights on, maybe. After I saw it clips on Thursday.
Christ, yeah, lights on and filmed on an actual camera.
And of course, for the first time on UK soil, at least on BBC, albeit on the digital platform BBC iPlayer. Fantastic news for MMA as a sport, but there was some up in arms about how they almost relayed it to the audience, BBC.
Yeah, they had that interview in the week, and I guess, some people are in that bit of an uproar, which is kind of no surprise. Not everyone really likes the sport, but that's kind of the world we live in. Hopefully it brings more attention to the sport and more people start accepting it, but I don't think you're going to ever please anyone, same with any sport really. But it's to be honest with you, the fact that sports even on BBC and Bellator pulled this deal is an amazing thing anyway, so happy out really.
Definitely. And someone who does get a lot of attention to themselves is Michael Venom Page. He's up against the new boy who got titled the Can in the promotion up to this fight, Ross Houston. This, I guess you call it a main event. It's the Bellator Paris main event, at least. How excited are you to see Ross Houston in Bellator?
Yeah, buzzing. I love Ross Houston. When he was in Cage Warriors, he was fantastic to watch. I was a big fan. His fight against Nicholas Dalby was absolutely insanity. Yeah, it was amazing. Former champ, obviously. Former champion in Cage Warriors. So he was a hard guy not to like, and he was always good to watch. That last fight being a clear example of that. So big test. I'm excited for it though. I think it's a really good fight for him.
Definitely, an undefeated fighter in terms of Ross Houston coming out of Scotland. Of course, you mentioned his run up there through Cage Warriors. It's fantastic, and obviously we see how good Nicholas Dalby is. He got his return to the UFC off the back of that fight, and this is a real test for Ross Houston. And I think it's more credit towards him that he's been given MVP first, not someone who you might expect to almost be giving him to get his first win in Bellator and get his feet in the door. He's been thrown in the deep end. Someone who fought at the welterweight Grand Prix not too long ago. Yeah,
man. Whoever calls Ross Houston a can is absolutely full of it. Like, you'd want to get your head checked if you're actually calling Ross Houston a can. The guy is a high level fighter. He's legit. And there's a reason he got this fight. So, the fact he's stepping up and getting MVP, it shows how much they think of him. I think it shows that Bellator actually believe that they see Houston as the majority of us do, and the ones who've been watching Houston for quite a while do. So it's good. And MVP, this is a really tough fight for MVP. I don't think people realize that, but it's a really tough fight. I think this could be a really, really good one.
Yeah, I almost feel a little sorry for Ross Houston, not to keep it on him, because I feel like at least for the casual market, it's going to be, if MVP wins, or on either side of the spectrum, it's MVP saying that he's fighting cans, or he's not good enough. And we just lost Quilter there. Maybe I'm not talking the right sense there. Maybe we're getting back hopefully soon. But yeah, Ross Houston MVP. Of course, we look at the tape.
What happened?
Am I not talking the right? Not talking right nonsense. You just want to leave me, is it?
Mate, I literally didn't do it, and I just looked at my phone, and all of a sudden goes, you're not connected to the internet. I'm like, yes, I am. I apologize.
They were not talking the right thing, but as I was saying, it's almost like it's a loss to Ross Houston. If he wins, everyone looks at MVP and goes, well, you're clearly not that good enough. Or if MVP wins, goes, oh, we just fed him another can. The Ross Houston is almost, it's a hard one for him. On the casual side, at least.
On the casual side, for everyone else and for himself, in terms, I imagine in terms of financials, it's going to work out very well in his favour. If he's a good showing, if he loses, it's only going to work. It's only going to look good for him moving forward. But it's one of those things. If he wins, though, everyone's going to be looking at him like, oh, this guy he's the real deal.
But you look at, Michael then Page, he
Hmm.
went for that welterweight Grand Prix, lost to Douglas Lima, of course, and that's his only professional loss. So Ross Houston gets a win tonight. When you're looking at that resume, it's like the only two people that beat Michael then Page is Douglas Lima and Ross Houston.
Yeah.
That in the future is going to be phenomenal for him. That probably sets him up, with a 2 or 3 wins, maybe just the 2 wins up against someone like Douglas Lima.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think you're right. I'd be surprised if he wins this. I can imagine him having 1, 2 more fights,
Probably
and then
Gracie, perhaps he gets next, someone like that.
ooh, now that would be a scrap. That'd be a tough one. Oh my days. Yeah, nice matchmaking, Rich. You might have a future in that if this doesn't work out.
Bring me up.
Jude Samuel is just like, what's this lad talking about? I love it.
Have a look at a quick tape there. Is there anything that sticks out? Very close in stature, same age. Obviously, the experience is on Michael then Page's side.
Yeah, experience. I get. Yeah, it is clearly his boxing experience as well. Yeah, record is about it, experience, but Ross Houston's fought guys' experience and showed how good he is. So I think it's going to be no disrespect to any of them really. I think they're both fairly well matched in this one. I think it'll be good. MVP probably is the advantage in the striking, I think, but I think if Houston can close the distance, I'd say that's where he could have the advantage. Close the distance, take it down. He might have the grappling advantage. So I think it works out nicely like that. I think. But yeah,
100%. I think I want to go with the quote unquote underdog. I kind of have to, with Michael then Page being from London. I almost feel allegiances with him in terms of the location, but I kind of want to see Ross Houston almost go in there and almost upset the whole, upset the apple cart and really go in there and stamp his name in there, because I think it's hard to do. MMA math doesn't work, does it? But if you're seeing Nicholas Dalby in the UFC and up and there, we know the closeness of that fight. I think it'll be interesting to see where Ross Houston is, and maybe where Bellator is in comparison to UFC. It's almost difficult, isn't it? And we say on a weekly basis we want Bellator rankings to come out. Hopefully soon we will get them in 2021. Maybe that's their New Year's resolution.
They desperately need him. It's painful. I want to see rankings because I want to see where they place MVP, and I want to see where the winner of this could end up, or what position they are and who could be next to them, because it's quite frustrating really. But hopefully it's in the pipeline. Like it's been too long. That's the best way of putting it. It's been too long.
Definitely. We have got a comment here from one of our watchers saying he's from Inverness, where Ross is from. So he's been following his journey for a little while. So he's clearly bringing the Scottish fan base. He's getting their support, their full-hearted support, isn't he, tonight? And obviously,
yeah,
we've got the huge England versus Scotland rivalry that's always fun to see in sport.
Oh, you're going to kick it off now. Where's Gary when you need him? That guy, whoever's watching from Inverness, absolutely agree with him 100%. He is legit. Said it from the start. So is MVP. A lot of people don't give him as much credit. You can see some people just dislike him, I think. But yeah, you got to give him credit where it's due. He's up there as well. He's one of the best in that division. So yeah, it'll be close.
Definitely,
what are you thinking for a result?
For a result, for a 3-round fight, I think it goes the distance. Probably, but I'm going to go with the Ross Houston decision win.
Ooh.
I think he comes in there, puts a good showing for himself, and puts himself in that title contention going into 2021. Nice,
very nice. Yeah.
But there from the Jack Life, obviously we've got 2 shows on tonight. He's asking, how do we watch in the UK? It's not on BBC iPlayer apparently. His fight's at 4:30. I think it is on iPlayer at 4:30. So check there in about 10 minutes or 9 minutes now, and it should pop up on one of the screens. And of course, 248 takes place later this evening, doesn't it?
Oh man, that's one on Channel 5, isn't it? It's all. I'll give it one thing. I'm happy that all these fights are live for once. It's just trying to figure out the logistics behind this is quite frustrating. I know in Ireland that's like, okay, I'm gonna watch on YouTube from Ireland for the start, and then after that I have to go to Virgin Media, and it's Virgin Sport. One of them. It's confusing. It's quite but it's good. It's progress. That's the best way of putting it. Like we're getting them all live for a change. There's no tape delay. Thank goodness.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic, isn't it? We come through this period, but we've had, within the past week, I think Bellator will be on 3 different broadcasters in the UK, Channel 5, BBC and Sky. So it can be a little bit mixed up, so
about Sky.
3 different broadcasters, you're looking through the channels, almost wondering which one you need on the night. And obviously tonight is BBC and Channel 5.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have all the channels for these.
It's going to sense that they've not made it pay-per-view. Obviously, Premier League's just become a pay-per-view game, and obviously this is on terrestrial TV where it's just a regular sign-up to BBC iPlayer and Channel 5. So at least they're not charging us £15 a fight.
Oh, imagine. I'd pay. Well, I'd pay, but yeah, the average fan that would be just tuning into the iPlayer wanting to watch the sport probably wouldn't.
Definitely. We move on, of course, to Bellator 248 main event. It's Cheick Kongo versus Timothy Johnson 2. It's a cracking fight, isn't it? I think that heavyweight bracket is going to be a huge way to end the night.
Have you seen? Like, I didn't realize this. Kongo is 45. What's this? I couldn't believe it. I was looking through Tapology size 45, and I was shocked that he's been around so long. So I guess it's not that surprising when you think of it that way. But like at first glance, just I had to take a second to actually like believe it. It was mad. Yeah, he was saying that he thought he'd be retired before MMA is legalized in France. This is huge for him. I imagine he's on a real buzz right now, and this is so exciting for him, especially the fact that fans are in as well during all this madness. So yeah, good fight. Sorry.
100%. You say he's 45 years old, but he's coming in this on an 8-fight win streak, albeit his last fight was a no contest with Ryan Bader at Bellator 226. And he mentioned the fact that, he is 45 years old, the stands there, see in Paris. Do you think it's almost, could we see the last of him tonight? He's in his, home country, and he's 45 years of age, and he's doing something he never thought he could do. Do you think there's an emotional part that might play into this fight? And we lost him again. This is the beauty of doing live content, guys. Get your comments in down below. Let's actually. Hey, you're my new co-host now. Everyone is calling Ross a can. They've probably never seen him fight.
Yes, I said that earlier.
I got a new co-host in for that bit. Yeah.
Oh my god, yes, I completely agree. Whoever calls him a can just doesn't watch the sport or hasn't watched him fight, and they're just looking at, I don't know, they're just coming up with something in their head.
Definitely. But yeah, any emotional factors going into tonight for Cheick Kongo? The fact that it's in France, 45 years of age, could we potentially see him leave his gloves in the cage?
I'd be shocked considering he's coming off a title fight that, he just came off a title fight, and if he wins this, you could probably argue that he should go for it again. He could be thinking, win this and try and bring a title back to France. It's hard to know. I wouldn't. I'd be surprised if he did, considering the run he's been on. Like, it's not as if he's been on a skid like 3 losses. But yeah, he's been. I'd be shocked.
He's aged like fine wine. Got wins in that 8-fight streak. Alexander Volkov, Augusto Sakai, who's now in the UFC, of course. Timothy Johnson, of course, who's fighting tonight. Do you think it's going to be the same result as the first one?
Yeah, I think so. Johnson's no slouch. Johnson's looked good in his last 2 fights after starting with two losses in his Bellator career. But after, in his last 2, he's been phenomenal. So I think it'll be a much more competitive fight than last time. He probably learned a lot from it. There's probably various amount of factors that are going to be different, but I can still see it going to Kongo. I think he's going to be. A different gravy tonight, just because of the factors with it being France.
Yeah, it's going to be. You see it every now and then. Obviously, this is a sport. It's not WWE where you write things down, but sometimes it starts to align for the perfect opportunity, doesn't it? And the perfect sort of narrative to write.
Yeah, but MMA is cruel like that sometimes. We get that perfect moment. It's like
builds up, and then drops,
and then just crashes. It's one of those. It's a sport that breaks. It's relentless. It break your heart in a split second. Your fighter could be winning all 3 rounds. It's like a Paul Craig fight. Yeah, I always think about it. It's like if you're against if you're watching, is that fight that Paul Craig had? Where he was losing the entire fight, and I'd say whoever was against him was probably buzzing, thinking, their fighter won the fight, and then he just pulls off and does that. It's a relentless sport, and I love it.
Our lad from Inverness might be able to tell us who that was against, but yeah, Otherim is the perfect analogy for that, isn't it? Obviously, the Stipe Miocic alleged tap, and then of course, the fight a couple of fights ago against Rosenstruck, won 4 minutes and 50 seconds of the fight, and came out with a knockout loss on his record.
Yeah, man, it's the beauty of this. Yeah, so you never know what could happen tonight. It could be a massive upset for Kongo.
Yes, 100%. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, Timothy Johnson came out against Matt Mitrione and won that fight, and as you said, he looked phenomenal in that with a first round KO. But I'm going to go with Kongo for this one. I think he's going to get it done, and I think the heartstrings are going to get pulled on tonight as he leaves Paris.
You think so?
Maybe. I think he gets it done.
I've got Kongo. I've got like I've got an Aka going. I've got an Aka of Encamp Houston and Kongo. I put a quid in it, like just for. I don't really bet back. I just said I keep it interesting, but I had that one. I'm not exactly confident it'll pull through because my history with betting is not exactly the most favorable in a sense. Which is why I don't bet big. I couldn't bet big like some people. But yeah, I agree. I have Kongo to win just going by history and looking at his current like run of form despite the no contest, which isn't really his fault. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You know, on betting terms, I had a good week. The week before last, obviously last week was horrendous in terms of betting. But we're moving on, of course, Oliver on camp and
Encamp,
Daniel
I think.
Dawa. I'm trying to guess the Swedish pronunciation of it, but Oliver, he is fighting tonight. Of course, obviously former UFC in Bellator now. Still a high prospect, 9-2.
Oh yeah, did you see his last fight? Yeah, I remember the Lewis Lang fight. I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a proper grappling match, and then it ended up being quite a bit of striking involved, and Encamp pulls off this spinning. It's down as a back fist, it's actually a forearm, and he pulls off that out of nowhere, and I just sitting there stuck to my seat like, whoa, I wasn't expecting it. I'm fit, and that proved how good he was in the feet for me, because I didn't think he was good in the feet until that fight. But he's lethal. He's lethal all around. I think he's a serious prospect in that division.
Almost Yair Rodriguez style with that upward spinning elbow that he did in that last couple of seconds. Ooh. But he is the co-main into this Bellator Paris card as well. Obviously, there's only 4 fights on there. You know, he's coming off that short stint in the UFC, which didn't go his way. But on both sides of that, he's very much in the winning column. And do you expect him to continue that tonight?
Yeah, well, I've had him on the bet, so I kind of guess I do. Yeah, I actually watched some your man Emmanuel Dawa back. I'm not sure if you saw any of his fights before. I watched 2. Now, being completely honest, only watched 2, and one was and they were both quite short. The guy just came out. He used some nice kicks. He was explosive and he was aggressive. He was a striker as well. That's basically what I pulled from it. Didn't go exactly too much into detail and trying to break it down. I'm not going to try and really con people to think I'm an analyst, because that is not happening. But yeah, he looked like a striker that came out and just wanted to knock lads out, and his record kind of shows it too. So I think he's going to be dangerous for a round. I'm not sure what it's going to be like come round 2, but if Encamp gets to the floor, I think Encamp's just going to like pull off some mad submission. What are you thinking for this one?
Yeah, Sweden is very much getting a little bit of a hotbed for MMA now, isn't it? We've seen Chimaev, of course, taking over in the UFC at the moment, but obviously the likes of Gustafsson is on that Asian side, and it seems like they're getting a fresh batch of young blood coming through.
They've got your man Albrechtsen as well. I'm sorry if I don't say that right. In Bellator, who looks a serious prospect. He was in Risen before, and he was he looks a serious talent as well, despite losing that fight against who was it? Last fight in Bellator. Name's the tip of my tongue, can't think of it. But he looks a talent too. That's Nordic MMA was slept on for so long. Now everyone sees it.
Yeah, definitely. You yourself, you mentioned in the fights to watch, with MMA Vikings, you're very much hot on the tail of the Nordic scene.
Yeah, I love it, man. Absolutely love it. It randomly started right from one day, and they were so welcome. Still help them out, and I can probably help them out with this car as well, 1 or 2 bits. They introduced me to Nordic MMA, and I've never looked back. What Nordic MMA is, I love it, absolutely love it. And they're all like, everyone I've spoken to, they're some of the nicest people I've ever spoken to in my entire life. They're just a lot of them are just so wholesome and kind. So yeah, I'm a big lover of the Nordic countries.
Definitely.
And the MMA scene.
Move on to that final fight on the Bellator Paris card. Obviously, we covered Mads Burnell versus Darko Banovic on that card and on that video yesterday. So make sure to check that out before it starts and kicks off very soon. But obviously, the last one is Ryan Scope against Alan Omar. Ryan Scope, again, another one of those huge prospects coming out of the UK. 10-3. This fight is going to be a cracker, isn't it?
Oh, I'm so excited. I really, really like this. I love Ryan Scope. He's a good guy. Yeah, and he's so talented. Like he's got his really he seems to be quite patient as well, and like a killer instinct is there. It's so good to watch. I love watching him. Yeah, he had that split decision loss. Did you see that one against Patricky Pitbull? That split decision. I remember seeing people being a bit up in arms saying that Scope could have won that fight. And split decisions are like that. You know, they go either way. It's kind of it's the reason they're called a split.
Why they split.
Yeah, it's like you can't really argue with some. You can't really argue those unless it's absolutely criminal, like some judges you see nowadays. But yeah, he looked good in that, and that was like Pitbull he's no joke. He's a high level fighter. That just shows the level they're in. Scopes at that Queally fight, the comeback from Queally. There was no damage in terms of Scope stock in that one because he was fantastic. So that was an amazing fight. I loved that.
That was in Dublin, was it? I'd imagine that Dublin crowd got behind Peter, and you know that Dublin crowd can win you fights alone, can't it?
Lad, the place erupted. Oh my God, they were on their feet. It was, I miss that, like the feeling of like being in the arena and just looking around and having chills going down your spine that when something like that happens. The comeback, and Scope came in there and it looked like Scope was about to pull off this huge upset, and then it just turns around. Queally, it was wild. I loved it. It was, yeah, I've been a fan of Scope for quite some time, but he's really, really won me over since he's come to Bellator. Oh my God. He's fighting a tough fight though. Have you seen it?
Omar, 23-5. That's a stacked record for someone like Ryan Scope. Obviously, he's fought the likes of Pitbull and Peter Cooley, who have significant experience. But I don't know, Omar, 23-5. That's a lot of miles on the clock in MMA.
Isn't it? Yeah. I was thinking that. I was like, this lad's been around the block, hasn't he?
He has, and he's only, I say he's 32, so, obviously started very young, and he's someone who's fought, quite consistently. This has been he fought in 2019 and 2020, but since then he's fought pretty much every year. Only 2018 he didn't have a fight in.
It's wild, like, he's been around to a few different promotions as well. Like, he's been to the UFC, he's fighting Brave, now he's in Bellator. The man he's getting picked up by everyone. I actually watched his fight with, it was in UAE Warriors against Aguilera earlier on, and they just wrecked you, man. Great, really, really good striking. Power. It came out of nowhere as well. He just all of a sudden, he was winning the fight and it was like 90 seconds is all it was. Explosive finish, just finished him. It was amazing. As soon as Aguilera dropped the floor, just pounded his head in. Yeah, Omar is no joke. I don't know how I see this fight going, to be honest. Could go either way.
This could be, on paper, maybe the closest fight to almost judge, I'd imagine. Potential fight of the night, even.
Potentially, if it stays in the feet, 100%. I'm not exactly as confident of who wins in the mat. I haven't seen enough of them, but in terms of striking, I think it could be fantastic to watch.
It could be a Muay Thai / kickboxing fight, is it, for 15 minutes?
Oh yeah, with some really good boxing in the mix of it as well, with some heavy punches.
You know what? I'm all in for that one. I'm all in for that fight. I get envious of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu sort of fights that we get, and the more grappling heavy fights that we get. I get envious of it because you watch it and you go, "There's no way in a million years I'm going to be doing that roll, that arm bar." You just have to watch there and admire it, and it does still annoy me. And it'd be interesting tonight with the 1,000 crowds if we get any booing with heavy grappling exchanges, heavy jiu-jitsu rolling, etc. It'd be interesting to see what the crowd's like with that now.
You could see that happen with the fight, with the Encamp fight, because he likes to bring it to the ground. You could see it with Houston, because Houston is a really talented grappler, and in particular, Saul Rogers, who is once he gets a hold of you, you're gonna you're trying to shake him off as a different gravy. That guy is he's a superb grappler, isn't he?
Oh yeah, 100%. Obviously fighting out of close to Manchester. He's at SBG Rochdale, of course, and SBG Manchester. He comes into every now and then. But yeah, he's a fantastic fighter. Obviously lost to Daniel Weichel at Bellator 228 after winning against Aiden Lee. So he's coming off the back of that loss. It was a unanimous decision. So he went the whole 15. But he doesn't have an easy task on his hand tonight, does he?
No, not at all. I actually watched some Arbi Mezidov fight earlier on, just so I could have some bit of a notion what he's like. I actually mixed him up at first. I was looking at When they were announcing it was in a different language, so when they were announcing him, I thought they were announcing Arabi as the other guy. But it turns out Arabi's like he's a striker. He was taken down a few times, kept getting back up, seemed to have he likes to keep on the feet. He can strike vicious. So I think this could be like a grappler versus striker type of job. So not sure. Arbi Mezdov fought in ACB, FFC, XFN. See some seriously good promotions there that he's fighting.
Yeah, and it's always tough, isn't it? When you got a heavy striker versus a heavy grappler, obviously it can go either one or two ways. Either the striker comes out and is a bit more wary of the grappling, or they use their grappling a bit more because they're trying to defend a little bit more rather than using the freedom of their striking, and vice versa. The grappler can be more almost drawn into strike a bit more with the striker, can't they?
Potentially, yeah. See, in that Mezidov fight, the last one I watched, he was against Simone or something. He was getting taken down quite a bit, but he was managing to get back up, which was quite promising. So I don't he didn't want to be engaging in grappling, but he was able to deal with it. But I don't know the level of your man Simone's grappling compared to Saul Rogers. Saul Rogers is a different gravy, but Saul Rogers could be if he. He could get tempted to be like, okay, if he gets a feel that he's a decent chance in striking with Medvedev, he could be tempted. He could stand there for a while.
Yeah, definitely. And it can almost be interesting their game plan because you can almost work it out within the first 2-3 minutes. If Saul goes in there and almost puts him up against the fence, goes to that takedown, or he gets drawn into maybe the game plan of Medvedev and almost keeps it in the center of that circle for a little bit, and they have a boxing match for the first 5 minutes. But at the same time, their game plan might be draw him in for the first round and then get him in the second or third round.
Yeah, that could be it. He could try and just get some time, some experience just in there, more time in the cage, more time in the Bellator cage, feel it out. Maybe try and show off some things that we haven't seen before, or some new techniques, new tricks that he's learning in the gym. Excuse me, I'm falling over myself there.
It's fine. People are struggling and falling over the BBC iPad at the moment. Not many people have been able to find it so far.
That's what I can see. I just see my phone hopping. It was like, can't find it, and now they finally found it.
It's a good old game. I think this is the toughest part of the night, isn't it? Finding which channel it's on.
Yeah, basically, it's like, oh, well, where are we going? Especially if you were like in Ireland and you were thinking we don't have BBC iPlayer, and then don't realize actually on YouTube for us.
Yeah, it's always a heartbreaker when something gets announced it's on YouTube or a streaming service, and you go on there and it goes not available in your location. You just sat there crying for 5 minutes, going, well, where else am I meant to go then?
Oh, lad, that pop up on Twitter every single time I try to watch a replay for certain fights or a knockout of some sort. Oh, it drives me insane. It's the worst. They just need to sort that out. It's desperate altogether.
Yeah, it does. It is very upsetting. Obviously, tonight, first fight in Paris. Obviously, the French fights that we haven't mentioned yet. Is there anyone that's almost sticking out to you? Obviously, there's the 125-pound card between two female flyweights, both coming from France.
Yeah,
but
interesting one that.
It's a nice little hotbed coming up, and I'd imagine a few of these tonight will be wanting to put on a good show for their country and put French MMA on the map a little bit more.
Oh, 100%. Actually, I have the card in front of me there. I was flicking through it. There's how many French fighters are on it? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 French fighters. They're on the right. They're on the rise in terms of the talent there. The fight that probably stands out in terms of one I'd be most interested in is the Diatta fight against Dominic Wooding. That is why he's 6-0. That Diatta from he's coming out of France. He was the 100% fight featherweight champion. So that's that, and it's near even in terms of odds. So the odds maker seems to think that this was actually quite close. That one stands out for me. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. I think it'd be interesting to see the featherweights go at it. I think across the board we need a little bit more. Flyweights. Flyweights. We need a little bit more across the board in terms of different promotions building up flyweights. Obviously, you got Lay McFarlane in that division, of course, at the top of it, and you've got some huge names coming over there as well. But I'm interested in that, and I think I think you're right with that. The 6-3, 6-0 Diatta versus Wooden. That could be one of those ones that sneak up on you. You're probably looking at it on paper going, this one might not be great, but as soon as it's on your TV, you see them two going at it, and you're fully invested in the fight.
I'm a massive fan of Wooding. Like Wooding's it's crazy. He's fought at I was just looking up there. I remember I first watched Wooding at Warrior Fight Series 6. He won the title. He fought at flyweight. And then he fought at the Bama show against Andy Young, flyweight for the title, lost that one. Then went up to bantamweight and then went up to featherweight. The guy has fought like 3 weight classes. It's insane. He doesn't care. He just takes a fight and he takes them against really good opponents too. He's he's one to watch. And Diatta, don't know too much about him, but considering he's champ, he's only young, he's 23. Definitely one to watch as well. I think this one could have a lot of potential.
Yeah, 6-0 at 23 is very impressive.
Yeah.
If you're looking at your career, you'd probably imagine you'd be 6-0 around that 25, 26 mark if you're fighting, once or twice a year by the time you go pro. But you look at Mohamed Mokhtar, he's gonna be 3-4-0 by the end of this year.
Oh, that's a bold prediction now. What is he? He's already 3-0, isn't he?
He's already 3-0. So yeah.
So 4-0. One more if he wins it. Yeah. Active boy, isn't he?
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really
you gotta love it.
But yeah, I think people we've got Matt here with a comment. Guys, how the F do I get this going on the iPlayer off the PS Store? I think if you got it downloaded on PS Store, it should be there. I'd imagine go on either channels or go on the category and go down to sport. I'd imagine it would be on there. But yeah, it's people. Oh, it's on there. Yeah, he's in there. He's found it. I think. I need to work it out. He got there in the end, Matt. But I think there's gonna be a lot of people. I'd imagine the admin for the Bellator socials is getting the full prompt of that at the moment.
Oh man, I'd say the notifications are happening. How do I watch? Where is it? I'll just send a sneaky message in there as well. Like, hi, where are the fights?
It's a tough one, but of course we've got some cracking ones on tonight. Obviously, you mentioned in your fights to watch match Darko Banovic that's happening at the moment. What's your sort of final words on that before we wrap it up?
That one? Oh, I'm not sure because it's most likely starting to throw it on as soon as this ends. I have Bernal via submission for that one. He's I'm hoping for some crazy Japanese necktie in that one.
Yeah, I just seen Gary there put it in the messages. If you're watching on BBC iPlayer, go to categories, go to sport, and it pops up there. So that's easy enough for you guys in the UK to watch, and obviously over in the States, I believe it's on the Zone, isn't it? I'd imagine so.
Honestly, I'm not sure. I've been focusing particularly on UK and Ireland, so I'm at a loss of that one.
We've got it tougher over here anyway. We've got it much tougher, but yeah. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, of course. We'll be back tonight, of course, for the UFC Fight Island by the preview, of course. Marlon Moraes, Corey Sandek. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss that. Make sure to drop the video a like. If you're on Facebook as well, hit the link in the description over to the YouTube channel. Press subscribe over there. We're on the road to 10k. We're getting closer and closer by the week now, but hopefully within the next month or two we'll hit that goal. And who knows, maybe there'll be a little giveaway or something for you guys there. But we'll see you guys in the next video, and we'll see you later on tonight, I believe about 10 p.m.
Love it.